The auto industry, like a lot of other industries right now, is under attack. We're under attack by threats that we've never seen before. We've got big players that are making moves that will ultimately change the landscape of our industry forever. And through this process, regretfully, there are many dealerships, many businesses in general, many family legacies that are they're going to be destroyed. So you see the same thing happening in businesses all across America. It's not just the auto industry, but you see these companies that were once thriving, tremendous companies that were originally a brainchild of someone. It's someone's legacy. And you see these companies that were once thriving, you see them going out of business or struggling all across America. It simply is how it is. Interestingly enough, though, there are many other businesses that have thrived in this crazy, tumultuous period, right? Like businesses like JP Morgan and Chase, they're still thriving, and businesses like DuPont that have been around forever and they're still climbing year after year. You've got businesses like Colgate that's been around forever, for decades and decades and decades, and they're still continuing to grow and thrive. So it's not all gloom and doom. The difference comes down to how each of these businesses reacted, handled, engaged, fought against, responded, or ignored the competition. That's the only difference. The same is going to be true for you. So today, what I want to give you is I'm going to give you 5 ways to take the hit, right? Blockbuster card, right? I'm going to give you 5 ways to take the hits that come with competition and still plow through to be successful on the other side. Fair enough? We're going to dive right in because I know I'm going to try my hardest not to run long and honor your time this morning. So we're going to dive right into this. This is going to be super, super strong. If you know anybody in business or, obviously most people work, but if you know anybody in business or that's trying to move forward in their career, trying to level up, maybe struggling against the competition, tag them, man. Tag them today. Let's talk some real talk this week, right? Practical application strategies. It's a great week to invite more people into the show. So number 1, the first type of hit that you are going to take, okay, in business, no matter what, it's going to happen to you at some point or another. The first type of hit that you are going to take when it comes from the competition is what I call the NKOTB, right? The new kid on the block. This is going to happen no matter what business, no matter what industry, no matter what you're trying to do. There's always going to be a new kid on the block, right? The NKOTB. And we have this saying in the car business. The saying is that a new penny always shines. And see, this saying, a new penny always shines, it comes from whenever we have a new hire in the industry, they always take off with such energy. They always kill it right in the beginning, right? Or you see it in your local community. You'll see that a new restaurant opens or anything like that, and the line is just out the door, right? A new penny always shines, whether it be a new vacation destination, a new show that just came out. Like, new will always attract attention. Always. But what tends to happen for a lot of people is the new attracts attention and we start to freak out. We start to freak out in our business and we go, oh my gosh, look at all the attention that they're getting. Look how busy they are over there. Look how well they're doing. They're kicking my butt on the sales floor. Look at all this. This isn't cool. And we start to go inside and we start to devalue ourselves. We start to devalue our business. We start to devalue our ability because the new penny is shining. I don't want you to do that. That's not a smart strategy on your part because no matter what, the new penny's always going to shine. That doesn't mean that it's any good. Just because that restaurant is packed for the first 6 weeks that they're open doesn't mean the food tastes good. Just because that theater is packed with a new movie doesn't mean the movie's any good. It's just new. We have this inkling to look towards new. So when you're facing this, when you take this hit of competition, when you've got the new kid on the block in your area, what I want you to do is breathe and then ask yourself a question: what can I learn? See, it takes this process of observation. Grant Cardone and I talked about this on my interview the other day. This process of observation. Sit back, take a breath, and watch. What are they doing that's good? What are they doing that you could add to your repertoire? In what way, what are they following through on that is adding value? Ask yourself those questions. Anytime you got the new kid on the block, I want you to learn what you can, extract what you can, but don't go destroying your entire foundation. I've seen people go, well, holy smokes, I used to do it like this and I was really good, but this kid came in here, now all of a sudden he does it this way, and this way, so I'm going to throw that out and start anew. No. You've come this far. There's good things that you've done. Don't throw all that out because the new kid on the block, the new penny, is shining. That's the first thing. If you want to handle the hits of the competition, just remember, a new penny always shines. Extract what you can. Don't go crazy. Extract what you can and apply it to make yourself better as well. It's always good to have solid competition. Number 2, the second hit that you are going to take when it comes from competition, the second hit that you're going to take is this thing called price wars. Now, we're battling this big time in the auto industry right now. Price wars, and the price wars, they seem great to the consumer, right? It's great. I'm going to lower my price, and then you got to lower your price, and then I got to lower my price, and we go into this price war back and forth where we're lowering the prices on our products, and it seems great to the consumer, and it can be in some senses because the consumer can maybe get a little bit better deal or be able to get a product that they couldn't necessarily afford, but it's not always good for the business. And it's not always even good for the consumer. You see, the cheaper I sell my new truck, that means the less value you have for your used truck. That's just simple math, right? So it's not always good for the consumer, but it's definitely not always good for business. Unless we can increase and uptick our volume, going into a price war can be a very, very drastic business-ending venture. Right? If your profits are going to go down, your volume must go up in order for you to sustain. So there's these price wars, and it's going to happen no matter what business you're in, no matter what you're moving forward, whether it be a club, an organization, anything that you're trying to move forward. There's always going to be a new kid on the block. There's always going to be someone that comes in at a different price point than you. So you have to be aware of this. And the way to overcome this, the key thing that I want you to understand and take away from this situation is that people buy when value exceeds price. Emily Galler, I can already see that in your handwriting on the thing. Thanks for always taking such amazing notes. People buy when value exceeds price in all situations, all of the time. You don't have to necessarily race to the bottom. You just need to increase value to make sure that you rise to the top. Let's use the Super Bowl for an example. I don't have a clip right here, but let's just use the Super Bowl for an example. The Super Bowl will be happening this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Kansas City Chiefs are going to play the old San Francisco 49ers. And as you can see, if you look, you can just go and look up Super Bowl tickets, and you'll see that even the cheapest ticket in the place is thousands and thousands of dollars. You don't see the NFL saying, hey, we've got the lowest price humanly possible, man. You can come watch our sports games way cheaper than you can the NBA or the Major League Baseball or any other sport. Come watch the Super Bowl. No way, right? No way. They will pack that stadium because people buy when value exceeds price. And people are excited about the experience that the NFL has created around the Super Bowl. They're excited about the hits. They're excited about the big plays. They're excited about the crowds and the cheering and the electricity. People will buy when value exceeds price. You do not have to go into the price wars game. Don't get me wrong. You must stay competitive in your business. We still got to show up. We must be aggressive. All right. So you're not just going to be able to price your stuff wherever you want. But ultimately, the bottom line is, are you telling a story of your value? What is your value? Not necessarily your price. That's number 2. What's up, Robbie Toomey? Number 3. This is when it comes to competition, you're going to take this hit right here. It's going to happen to you. Number 3 is you're going to have some ballers, what I call ballers in the building. There are going to be some people that are going to come into your business, your field, your expertise that have stacks on stacks on stacks of cash, right? The competition cash flow seems endless. We're definitely experiencing this with Carvana right now. The cash flow seems endless, and yet yours is not, right? And so when it comes to that, when you have some competition that comes in and they got stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks, and you don't, they got all the money and you don't have all the money, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? Are you just beat? Are you just done? Are you just toast? The answer is no. The answer is, when you've got competition that's got stacks and stacks and stacks, while they're going wide with their stacks, right? They're going real wide. They're spreading out. They're trying to consume all these different consumers. This is when you need to go deep. They go wide. You go deep. You've got to create your own niche so that no matter what they're doing out here with their stacks, it doesn't impact you. I'm going to give you an example. Oh, man, I wish I would have pulled up a picture. I'm going to give you an example. Elizabeth McCullough will know this place. There's a jewelry store in Flagstaff, Arizona called Frederick Fisher Jewelers. Now, Frederick Fisher Jewelers is owned by my friend Ryan Terhar. His family has owned it for decades on decades on decades on decades. I'm not even sure how long, 50, 60, 70 years. And this is a tiny little jewelry store, right? Tiny little jewelry store in the Flagstaff Mall. My wife's wedding ring came from that jewelry store. I only buy jewelry from Frederick Fisher Jeweler. Now, here's the thing. They're surrounded by all these places, right? Like you've got Jared and you've got, whatever all the diamond places are that you see all the commercials. They run hundreds of commercials and they sell their stuff cheaper, and, they're romanticized, and they've got stacks on stacks on stacks and stacks on stacks, right? They've got all that, and you see all that. But yet, Frederick Fisher Jeweler, this tiny little jewelry store that's been around for decades and decades and decades and decades and decades, is thriving. They're thriving against the competition. You know why? Because they have a very, very narrow niche. Very narrow niche. They only have the best diamonds. That's it. Flawless. That's it. They only have the best diamonds. Period. Yes, they cost more than everybody else. They do. They cost more because they're only the best diamonds. It's only quality service. You know exactly what you're going to get every single time. So because they have this niche, they were able to create their own economy. So it doesn't matter what happens outside. It doesn't matter these big guys with stacks and stacks and stacks. It doesn't matter. They've been able to create their own economy with their own customer base. Well, they will continue to thrive against the competition. If you're running into that in your business, somebody's in your market with stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks, then don't try to go wide. You can't outrun them if they got all that money. Instead, let's go deep. Number 4. I'm sorry, man. I'm getting all fired up. I love business stuff. Let's go. Number 4. Number 4 is the big, the bad, and the ugly. When the competition is actually better than you. That's right. It's going to happen. Somebody's bigger than you. They're better than you. They might have a better product than you. Well, what do you do when that happens? Well, let me tell you.
Here's the thing that makes life so interesting. The theory of evolution claims only the strong shall survive. Maybe so. Maybe so. But the theory of competition says Just because they're the strong doesn't mean they can't get their asses kicked. That's right. See, what every long shot come from behind underdog will tell you is this. The other guy may in fact be the favorite. The odds may be stacked against you, fair enough. But what the odds don't know is this isn't a math test. This is a completely different kind of test. One where passion has a funny way of trumping logic. So before you step up to the starting line, before the whistle blows and the clock starts ticking, just remember, out here, the results don't always add up. No matter what the stats may say, and the experts may think, and the commentators may have predicted, when the race is on, all bets are off. Don't be surprised if somebody decides to flip the script and take a pass on yelling uncle. And then suddenly, as the old saying goes, we got ourselves a game.
Sometimes if they're bigger and badder and maybe even better than you, passion trumps everything. Go all in. Fifth and final, when you're dealing with competition, the fifth and final way that I can help you plow through is I want you to remember something very specifically, okay? Fear is a liar. Your competition puts their pants on one leg at a time, just like you. They might be further along the journey than you, but they are no better than you. They too are just a child, not just, they too are a child of God, the God of the universe, the God who made everything, made them uniquely just like they made you. When I did this interview with Grant Cardone the other day, one of the first things that he did right when I popped in before we ever went live is Grant said, I said, "How you doing, Grant Cardone?" He said, "I'm doing great, Glenn. How are you?" I said, I'm doing great." I said, "I'll be honest with you though, Grant, this has been, you've been a mentor of mine, for 21 years, and I'm a little, a little excited, a little nervous to interview you." And Grant just looked at me. He said, "Glenn, what are you nervous for, man? We're friends. We're friends." He's normal. He's just a dude who puts his pants on one leg at a time. Just like you and just like me. Your competition is not something that you should fear. Fear is a liar. They're not doing anything that you can't do. They're not accomplishing anything that you can't accomplish. You see, we all have the same DNA. We come from the same bloodline. We all have the same father, the same capabilities, the same abilities, right? Now, we're different and unique in many, many ways, but ultimately, we all have the ability to use our passion and our fire. We have the ability to watch and to learn and to observe. We have the ability to create the disciplines and the habits, and we have the ability to go out there and crush. You have the ability to go out and crush. The question is, will you? I was listening to Eric Thomas this morning. He was saying no more 70%, like average ain't enough anymore. 70% out of you ain't going to cut it. No more 80%. You see, good is not enough anymore. We must move with urgency. We are under attack from all sides. It's time to move with urgency. A little bit above average, 90% is not it's not enough anymore. I need 100% out of you. If you're working on your morning 5, I need 100% out of you. If you're trying to transform your life, I need 100% out of you. If you're trying to grow your business and trying to make a massive impact on this planet, which you have the ability to do, then I need 100% out of you. Do not allow the competition to put you into a state of fear. Instead, allow the competition to spark you into action to go out and make a massive impact on this planet.